Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore making her her welcome back appearance as a panelist here on Wake Up America. Erin, nice to have you back. We've also got from The Federalist contributor Benjamin Weingarten, and former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates is here as well. We have got a lot to talk about this morning, so I'm glad we got the superstar all-star powerhouse panel. Still working on that name. Oscars ratings are in, Erin, and they were through the roof as expected. Did you watch?
What do you think? The answer is absolutely not. I didn't watch 1 second of it. I did see some virtue signaling clips about people talking about gun control. Well, they had private armed guards. So right on brand for Hollywood.
Very good point, actually. Yes, there was. They were talking a lot about defund the police as well, Benjamin, and most Hollywood stars, particularly the A-listers, none of whom were at the event on Sunday, they all have private security. I looked into this. So private security in the U.S. is more than $1 billion industry. Watching Johnny Carson, he was the host of the Oscars like early 80s, and he gets out there and he's like, "Good evening, everybody." He's like, "Good to see a lot of old faces. Good to see a lot of new faces. Good to see a lot of new faces on a lot of the old faces." And it was just like, you know, he's making fun of it. It brought down the house. Everybody's laughing, plastic surgery, and everywhere. It was just a very, very funny moment, innocent moment. Billy Crystal did that for 20 years as well. All right, I think we've got at least some video from this Michigan State representative. His name is Joel Jones. I hadn't heard of him up until yesterday, 26 years old. He crashed his car into a ditch in Michigan in I-96. He was with a woman. Here's some of the video. They both had their pants down when police arrived. He told the police that, "I run y'all's budget, bro," indicating that he is a part of running the budgets. He also said he was going to call Governor Gretchen Whitmer. He refused to show his ID. The woman sounds like she was totally blasted. She threw up when cops got there, couldn't stand on her own feet. Police had to use a taser and pepper spray. They found her to take the first stab at that.
You know, no one should cheer for the demise of another American citizen. This is sad all around. I know the hotel industry is really suffering right now. Perhaps that would have been a better venue for this, certainly not driving. However, I also think that substance abuse is never funny. Perhaps what he should do is, you know, maybe join AA or seek a therapist or seek some sort of counseling, try to redeem himself, and then potentially get his elected life back on track. He was very young. He could have been a rising star. This is very, very sad. Hopefully he will show a lot of contrition and perhaps have a long life of public service ahead of him. And please be an advocate for not drinking and driving, not carrying a firearm while intoxicated. You know, those are good messages to send young people. People do look up to, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's elected officials, people look up to these people. So they do, like the rest of us, have an obligation to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
Part of that comeback story, and I agree with everything you just said, Erin, is unpacking sort of the ridiculousness of this circumstance. And by the way, this might, 20 years from now, when he's a senator for Michigan and not a state rep, you know, this might be, you know, a turning point for him. Where was that 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago? That is not the messaging. It has been follow the science for the last 13 plus months.
This narrative changes incessantly with Dr. Fauci and the left. And honestly, I think that the mask mandate should be completely over. What happened to free choice as Americans? We've heard Joe Biden say that essentially everyone that wants a vaccine can get one. A lot of natural herd immunity from already having had coronavirus exists. If someone does not want to wear a mask, they should not have to. If someone has higher risk, they can stay home. And by the way, in the state of Florida, Texas, Mississippi, we don't really have those strict mask mandates anymore. I live in Palm Beach County, Florida, where it's a little more blue and strict, but outside they have a requirement that says if you are outside exercising social distancing or have a medical situation, you do not even have to wear a mask. So these things are largely over. The American people have fatigue. They have grown tired of doing their part in this global pandemic because they're starting to realize it isn't about science. It isn't about common sense. It's about a political narrative that the left is pushing, period.
Such good points, panel. We'll get back into this at the top of the hour. A great way to start the day. Good to see you guys. We'll see you all again in just about 18 minutes. All right. Panel Emerald, shall we? We start with attorney and Republican strategist for Turning Point USA. She's a contributor there. Erin Elmore is back with us. He's on clipboards outside of shopping malls. That's the furthest thing from the truth, isn't it, when it comes to Gavin Newsom in California?
I mean, first of all, that's a dangerously dismissive take to have when you're potentially facing your entire career and legacy being on the line. But
in Congress, New York, not surprisingly, 1 seat. I thought it would have been more. Ohio and Pennsylvania will also lose a seat as well. But states like Texas, they're going to pick up 2 seats. Florida's going to pick up a seat. Colorado, Montana, and North Carolina are, as well as Oregon, are all going to gain a seat as well. So this could really play a role in the midterm elections.
Absolutely. I hope, as a Floridian who is conservative, that all the people that are moving and relocating realize why they're doing so. Gee, I don't like these liberal policies. Maybe I should start voting red. And that's what I'm hoping occurs. But I do think they should send a very poignant and very powerful message to the Cuomos of the world, to the Gavin Newsoms of the world. Your policies are not working. These are not common sense policies. We need to open our economy. We need to protect our police, protect our citizens, believe in law and order. Like Gavin Newsom is not doing any of those things in California. And by the way, this recall initiative isn't just under the wire by 1 or 2 signatures. They have 100,000 extra signatures. So his day of reckoning very well may be coming. And all of these blue states really need to dig deep inside of their soul and say to themselves, hey, what am I doing as a leader? What am I doing as a state? We need to change. And hopefully that change will come.
Well, it's also, I want to pick this back up on the other side, but what's fascinating is, you know, when you pick up a congressional seat, you also pick up an electoral college vote. That you couldn't have timed. You couldn't have timed that better. By the way, Joe Biden's biggest accomplishment, if you ask me, is getting America vaccinated. But really, he just all he does is take credit for Operation Warp Speed. That was President Trump's achievement. He just pushed it over the goal line.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry about that. My teleprompter, much like Joe Biden, malfunctioned.
Right.
And that is exactly what I was going to say. Any accomplishment, air quotes, he is going to take credit for is going to be that of President Trump. He is going to definitely take credit for Operation Warp Speed. He's going to point to the economy, which is thriving because of President Trump. What he has done is try to destroy everything that's good about our country, whether it's low taxes, safe borders, a thriving economy, thriving job market, even in spite of coronavirus. I know those numbers have wavered a bit, but any accomplishment that he is going to claim credit for is going to be that of President Trump. By the way, I think he's going to solely read from a teleprompter. I don't think there's going to be any spontaneity, any sort of emotion, any sort of feeling, because honestly, that's what we have come to expect from him, and that's all he is capable of.
All right, panel, we'll pick this back up at the top of the hour. The rest of the powerhouse panel this morning, we've got attorney, Republican strategist for Turning Point USA, Erin Elmore is here, and former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates is here as well. Pompeo, when he was Secretary of State, you were part of the administration for a long time. Mike Pompeo warned us about this for a long time. He said that what John Kerry is doing as a private citizen is against the law. He's basically negotiating policy with foreign countries on behalf of the Obama administration, I guess, and himself, but certainly not on behalf of President Trump and the administration. I'm sorry. That was for Rick. Did I say you, Rick? I'm sorry.
When he said we have got to eradicate the Iran deal, it was a bad deal.
His 100th day in office, for the first time ever, we'll have 2 women sitting behind him. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, will be one, and Nancy Pelosi will be the other. But Nancy Pelosi is limiting the number of members that can come into the chamber to hear his speech live. She claims it's for COVID reasons, which makes absolutely no sense because almost everyone has been vaccinated, but also it didn't make a difference when you're there casting a vote for COVID relief or anything like that. Your thoughts?
You know, I think this is very strategic. I think she's trying to limit people's exposure to the president because there are very serious allegations that he is in poor health. We know that he does very poorly when he is asked to speak off the cuff.
Right.
I think what she's doing is a very massive matter of strategy. And you know what? When I talk to people that are not involved in politics, who are just lay people, their common reaction about her is, why is she so angry? It seems that she's always on the defensive, always attacking. It's really no way to live. That's just a total aside. But I do think that the eyes of the nation will be on the president's speech tomorrow because it's gaffe after gaffe. It's falling up the steps of Air Force One. It's waiting to see what he's going to do. I actually have a few friends who are in Secret Service in Washington, and boots on the ground are telling me that Joe Biden isn't going to make it till August. That's the facts. I don't know what else to say. It's scary.
Yeah.
My goodness, Erin. Wow, I hadn't heard that yet, but August now right around the corner. He's supposed to be touting the accomplishments of his first 100 days in office. As I see it, he's passed COVID relief. He shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Many people lost their jobs. He has taken credit for Operation Warp Speed. He's also opened up the border and largely not addressed that. Rick, rewind the clock 4 years. After 100 days of former President Donald Trump in office, he had accomplished a lot.
That even some journalists are expecting this. They're throwing their chips on Kamala Harris and choosing to give their colleagues preference when it comes to Joe Biden, and they'll take the vice president beat, which is very unusual if you know how this press corps is, because